Namaste and our swagatam to our um, discussion here on 22nd of February 2026. Before we start, I'd like to call on Pandita Usha Thakur to chant a prayer. Pandita Usha, please go ahead.
Namaste, Namaste ji, sabhi ko namaste. Fold your palms where the heart is. Close your eyes. I'll start with Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swah Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om, for the studies and enlightenment we are getting from our Guru, जो शिक्षा आप हमें दे रहे हैं उसका सदा सम्मान के साथ ओम सहना ववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति Shantihi. In this journey of studies, may the divine protect us both, teacher and student. May he nourish us both. May we work together with great energy. May our study be enlightening and fruitful. May we not hate or quarrel with each other. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi.
Thank you, Pandita Usha ji, for such a beautiful chant and wordings. Today, we are going to start. In fact, we have a best learner in our group, Bhanuji. She asked so many good questions, and I think she studies everything very deeply, and she is a serious participant of all these courses. So the first question, I think the questions are going, the first question she asked only. So first question is that critics of the Gita often ask, given Krishna's role as a divine guide, committed to upholding dharma, why did he ultimately align himself with the Pandavas rather than intervene to morally transform Duryodhana and prevent conflict altogether? Please explain. Yeah, it's a very good question. You know, he had a divine powers. He was a great yogi. And we are naturally, one would ask that he could have intervened and transformed Duryodhana by his yogic power and could have stopped this war. But you know, we must understand, and one question was raised earlier, it is the question of free will. If he would have transformed Duryodhana through his yogic powers and would not have, then the free will of Duryodhana would have ceased to exist. So every individual is free to act. So divine powers means it can give you the guidance. It can give you the right suggestions. Similarly, just like Brahman is all around us, he is inside us, he is outside us. When you contact Brahman for the guidance of anything, he will guide you the right path. But it is the choice of the individual soul to adopt that path or not to follow that path. So the same thing was done by Krishna, and we know multiple attempts he made for the peace. He himself went as a peace messenger to the court of Dhritarashtra, but he was also captured over there. Then the next question is, why he aligned himself with Pandavas? This is also a very important question. You know, aligning with the Pandavas, there is one more thing that is known in Sanskrit as Dharma Sankat. Dharma Sankat. And English, if I define it, conflict of interest. Dharma Sankat or the conflict of interest. So, Dharma Sankat, how to resolve the Dharma Sankat? And sometime everybody face Dharma Sankat in his life also. Then Dharma Sankat is resolved, number one, according to the Dharma Shastric injunctions, instructions. And what is the Dharma Shastric injunctions? There are many types of dharmas. Means dharma here is a duty. There are many types of dharmas. Individual dharma, vyaktigat dharma, just like family dharma, samajik dharma, national rashtra dharma, manava dharma. There are many steps of the dharmas. So which dharma would prevail, dominate when some dharma sankat comes, when conflict of many dharmas arise, then which dharma you should go by? So highest one is the manava dharma. When we see that manavata at a whole or humanity at large is at danger, we shall have to forego even the rashtra dharma, national interest. If we see that the national interest is at risk due to some family interest, family dharma, or some individual dharma, or some societal dharma, then those dharmas have to be forgotten for the sake of the national dharma. And Swami Dayananda has stated a very good thing. In his 10th commandment, he says, we are free, we are free to do if the self-interest is concerned. But when the interest of the entire society comes, then we are bound to think. We should not observe our free will when the interest of the entire society is conflicting. Means your self-interest, you will have to forego it in the interest of the entire society. So this is a rule. This is not mandatory. So according to those Dharma Shastric injunctions and according to this 10th commandment of Maharishi Dayananda, we have been suggested that we should not apply self-interest or give prominence to the self-interest when the interest of the entire society is concerned. So this was the reason, because the Rashtra, the nation, was not secure in the hand of Duryodhana. Duryodhana was not a good ruler. As a ruler, he was giving prominence, he would have given prominence to his self-interest. And the same thing he was doing. When Krishna asked him, you just give the 5 villages and you keep the whole, this nation with you. Because half of that state, it was already ruled by Yudhishthir by that time. But he lost it in that game of dice. And so then he asked for the 5 villages, but he refused. He told, I cannot give even an inch of the land to him to rule or to exist. So what was the dharma? For the protection of the nation at large, he was bound to go along with the Pandavas. And moreover, it was not his choice. both Duryodhana and Arjuna, they went to Krishna for his help. So then Krishna told, whomever I will see first, I will accept his demand first. So Duryodhan was sitting at the head side, and Duryodhan was sitting at the leg side of Krishna. When Krishna got up, he saw Arjuna and he asked him, "What do you want?" And he told, at one side I am alone and I am not going to fight. On the other side, my whole army is there and they are going to fight. The Arjuna asked, I want you, whether you fight in the war or not. So that way also, so Krishna went to the side of Pandavas. So both the things, in the national interest, because the king should have been a good person. And we have seen this type of Dharma Sankata. It came before Rama also. When he came back, he started ruling. So at one side, the people, somebody asked that we do not, want to accept that Sita is chaste. And now the king's wife, she has lived some 13 years in somebody's house and she has come back. So every common person will start doing it. Their wives will be going, they will leave somebody else and they will come back. So it will set a wrong precedence. So that was the Praja Dharma, Raj Dharma. So his self-interest was, family dharma was to protect his family. But the Raj Dharma, it was bigger than the family dharma. Then Ram has to ask Sita to give your Pariksha, Agni Pariksha. So this is what is happening. Same thing happened with Kunti also. Although Kunti was taught some technique of, producing children by stimulating the ovary, and Kunti did this experiment without marriage, and she was a princess. So she had to abandon Karna because the people would have objected. But the rest of the Pandavas, five Pandavas, they were also created using the same technique. But they were not considered as illegal because after marriage that technique was applied. So the same thing, when the Raj Dharma comes or conflicting with your family dharma or your self swadharma, then you will have to go by the higher dharma. So that is why this Krishna, he sided with Pandavas. And now the next question is, the B part of this question is, from a contemporary classroom perspective. No, just a minute. How should Krishna's decision be understood within the ethical and philosophical framework of Bhagavad Gita? So Krishna's decision, the ethical and philosophical framework of Bhagavad Gita is yato dharma tato jaya. Yada yada dharmasya glanirabhavati bharata. When dharma, rashtra dharma, or will be at stake, or the manava dharma will be at stake, then he is going to come to uphold it. So that is the philosophical framework of Bhagavad Gita. So there are two things in person's individual life also. When you are facing some conflict, and conflict is related with your duty of the dharma, then as per dharma shastric conditions, you will have to go by that dharma which has a priority. And if there is no such conflict, and in individual life there is some conflict, what will happen then? You will have to go by the priority. Two, three things are there. So you are at conflict whether I should do it or do that, then finalize which one is your priority. So whatever your priority is, so you can do that. You can go by that. That is the simple philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Decisions are to be taken based on priority. Decisions are to be taken based upon the dominance of the duties, which duty is prominent at that time. So that type you can apply these things in your life. So now the next question number 2, it also has 2 parts. For young adults, navigating stress, choices, and self-doubt. In today's society, in what way can Arjuna's moment of confusion and Krishna's compassionate and patient listening serve as a practical framework? So that is also a very good question. Every student, every person face such difficulties in life, stress, choices, and self-doubt in today's society. So we know, everybody knows that young adults, they face stress, certain uncertainty about their career and identity, moral dilemmas, and self-doubt. So first of all, we must acknowledge inner conflict instead of suppressing it. We must acknowledge what the conflict is. Practical lesson, what is it? Recognize and articulate one's struggles is the first step. First of all, we must recognize, yes, there is a struggle in my mind. And we must articulate, we must share it with our mentor. Then we can seek the advice of a wise person in that field. It may be your mentor or maybe your friend, whomever you think that he is a wise person. You must seek his advice. Then a person as a mentor, just like a Krishna is. What was Krishna's quality? He was compassionate listener. He was empathetical. He listened to Arjuna in a very compassionately. He gave full, attention to what he was saying. So until and unless you are not able to understand the question of a student properly, you cannot solve it. So be a patient listener and have empathy to all those things. Don't make a mockery or joke of the question if somebody seriously asks you. Then your actions must be aligned with your purpose and the value system. Whatever value system you have inherited or sanskaras you are having, you do not leave them. Whatever action you will be taking, those actions must be aligned with your value system, and that should address your purpose. Nor what will happen, you can take a wrong path also to solve that problem. So you must be very clear about it, that you are not going to leave your value system. So this is how recognize confusion, express it honestly, then seek a wise person or a trusted mentor, you can say. So he must also give heed to your questions in a very patient way. Then the decisions must be taken in alignment with your values and responsibility. And you must have confidence if you start doing or taking some action. So that is the way how we can deal with all these things. Or we cannot become stressed or depressed. No, nothing can be solved. Every problem in this world can be solved. You will have to be very courageous, confident about your knowledge, about your system, and seek advice. So, whatever advice you find, you can seek advice from 2, 3 persons also. So, whatever you find best, you can follow that. From a contemporary classroom perspective, with young adults, what can be learned from Krishna's role as a teacher, mentor, and the pedagogical style employed, and from Arjuna's as a student? So, this is very much clear that Krishna's role as a teacher, he had quite empathy before giving instructions to the Arjuna. And in modern pedagogy, we can say that social emotional awareness is essential in teaching. When a teacher is teaching, he must be aware about the social and emotional factors of that student. Then this is, dialogic way is there. We can encourage questions and answers rather one-way lectures. That's what we are doing here. Then we can have some structured explanation, not explanation which is quite vague. We must have some structured explanation so that we can make that student understand his problem and act on it. Then a teacher must also encourage the independent understanding, not that every time he is dependent upon the mentor. We must encourage the independent understanding. We must give him some, quite guiding frameworks, that this is the framework, you can act according it, take his own decision. Then whatever, this is not happening in the classroom. Whatever is taught in the classroom, those concepts, if they can be linked in the real life setting. But while we are, learning this Bhagavad Gita and other Shastras, those concepts, they can be linked with the real life settings. So this is the duty of a teacher, how he can teach. He can teach how the concepts can be linked to the real life setting. He must give a structured solution. He must listen the student patiently. He must know about his social and philosophical backgrounds or emotional backgrounds. Then he can be deemed as a good teacher, and this was the quality of the Krishna himself. And so far as the student is concerned, Arjuna is an ideal student. He is honest in expressing his doubt. Although he knew that such a divine, such a great yogi is before him to help in the war, and he was quite confident of him, but he did not engage in the war only at his behest or at his order. He started questioning. Before engaging anything, if some doubts are there, then you will have to clarify those doubts. So this is the quality of a good student. And this is what Swami Dayanand also told to his followers. Don't do things blindly. Questions them. Have questions, rational questions, logical questions. If you find answers, then you can go ahead. If some line is there in the Shastra which is quite ambiguous, which has no reasoning, which has no rationality, don't accept it. Why to accept it? If you are studying the Veda and some mantra translation you find, what happens if somebody gives it vague translations and you don't understand anything? That means that translation is wrong. It should be based upon reasonable, rational, scientific grounds. If it is not there, then that cannot be accepted. Whether the same thing is written even by mistake in the text of Swami Dayananda also. So that has we must be an aware human beings, and a student must have intellectual humility, as this is the essential quality of deep learning. Humility. He must admit his uncertainty and seek guidance. Then active engagement is also necessary. What happens? Arjun listens, he questions and reflects throughout the dialogue. He is not keeping mum. And then a student must have a willingness to transform himself. If you are stubborn, you are just asking questions to harass the teacher or just to test his knowledge, it has no meaning. You must be ready as a student to transform yourself. Then only this teacher students relationship will exist in terms of Bhagavad Gita. So now the next question is the fourth lecture. Okay. Question number 3 hai. It is related with the Veda lecture 4. Since a multiplicity of interpretations exist on the term Devata, how does Swami Dayanand? You are very much right, because the term Devata, there are multiplicity of interpretations. First of all, we must understand that Devata is not a deity as is interpreted by in English by everybody. It's wrong. Devata word is Devata, or if you can translate Devata, it is the subject matter. So then, multiplicity of Devata means multiplicity of subject matters. So there are around 900 Devatas in all the 4 Vedas. So means different mantras, you have different Devatas, their subject matter is different. So if you will understand this fact, then most of the problem will over. Because if Veda is the source of all knowledge, naturally it will have many subjects to deal with. But if you are talking about Devata in the sense of deity or the god or goddess, is the people call mistakenly, because in Vedas there is no god and goddesses, only one god has been eulogized there, and that is Brahman, Paramatman, or Ishvara, you may call it. So since a multiplicity of interpretations exist on the term of Devata, no doubt, so far as the subject matter of the Veda is concerned, suppose Varuna is there or Agni is there. Agni have multiple interpretations in multiple fields. In spiritual field, Agni is Brahman. In astronomical field, Agni is energy. Agni is also geothermal energy. Agni is also the teacher who is endowed with the fire of knowledge. So Agni is also your digestive fire within your body. So there are so many multiplications, because one, in Vedas, we are supposed to translate Vedas on through Lakshana, means suggestive meaning, indicated meaning. There is no one meaning of the Vedas. But here I think Bhanuji means something else. Then she asked, since the multiplicity of interpretations exist on the term Devata, how does Swami Dayananda's view differ from the other Vedic scholars? So actually this is not Swami Dayananda's views. This is the traditional view, what Swami Dayananda interpreted rightly. The same thing I am saying. Bhagavad Gita is the same thing, but I am translating it differently, because there is a different concept. Swami Dayananda's whole concept was based upon Vedas. And what is the concept? The traditional definition of Rishi and Devata I will give. He says, Yasya Vakyam Sa Rishi Ya Tenochyate Sa Devata. Now, Yasya Vakyam Sa Rishi. Who is seer? A seer is one who has stated or derived some meaning from the Vedas. He is seer. And Yate Nochate, whatever he told as a derived meaning, that is known as Devata. Whatever seer, a seer is one who detected some meaning from the mantra. And when he expressed that meaning by giving it as a subject matter, that is known as Devata. So, the finder or discoverer of the meaning is the seer, and the meaning discovered by him is known as Devata. This is the traditional definition. So Swami Dayananda is not giving or saying a different thing. So how the Swami Dayananda's view differ from the term from other Vedic scholars? So it is his view differ in interpretation, not in factual position. Fact is the same, but interpretations are different. They think that Devata is the discoverer of the, seer is the discoverer of the mantra. And on the other hand, they also say that Vedaha apaurushaya. So they think that these seers are the writer of the mantra. But Swami Dayananda says that seer is the discoverer of the meaning of the mantra. So, difference of interpretation is there, factual difference is not there. Then, how is a Vedic aspirant's choice of interpretation impact his or his spiritual philosophical growth? Right? Your choice of interpretation, what happens? Everybody has some idiosyncratic language, individual knowledge system. You cannot rise above that. You will have to, first of all, you will have to accumulate knowledge in your this how in your mind. If you suppose you have a primary standard knowledge, you cannot understand the highest level of knowledge. If you have a college level knowledge, you cannot understand the university level knowledge. So this is the same thing happening. It depends upon your knowledge system to understand the highest knowledge system. So suppose you read, I'm giving for example, you read any Veda Bhashya, read the interpretation of the Vedas done by different scholars. You will not find even a single thing to understand from that. I can't understand, then I think you will also not be able to understand it. So if you have spiritual inclination, then you will interest in the spiritual knowledge. If you have some scientific inclination, immediately you will become interested in the scientific knowledge. So that depends upon your sanskara. Whatever type of sanskar we have, we will be attracted towards the same type of phenomena, whether it is interpretation, whether it is knowledge or something else. And so, if you are a doctor, immediately you would like to know about some, you know, biological knowledge or some anthropological things or some body knowledge of the body or medicines, you will become interested. So, aspirant's choice is depends upon his sanskaras, and he will be attracted to the same type of knowledge that is already with him, because he will be able to understand it. But suppose That is the existing sanskar. You can make new sanskar also. If you are reading Ved and spiritual meaning, Vedic scientific things, so certainly what will happen, your old sanskaras will be erased and new sanskaras will be formed. So that will have the constant study, abhyasa, swadhyayat na pramaditavyam. He says, don't live abhyasa or swadhyaya, daily study shastra. So what will happen? That will have some permanent impact in your mind and you will form new sanskaras and your life will start changing. Then how is, okay. Third one is, since Vedic literature allows learner to see the coexistence of many layers of meaning, right? To think and to reflect and not to submit to a belief system. Should a learner interpret Devata to mean a personality? No. In Vedic context, a learner cannot interpret Devata as a personality. Devata is the subject matter of that mantra. No doubt that a mantra can have many subject matters. Many subject matters, provided those subject matters are based upon rational thinking, some reasonable arguments and scientific base. Not only some absurd meaning somebody drives and say this is the Devata, that cannot be the Devata. And because for that matter also there are so many texts, Vedangas are there, whole books of the Vedas are there. And shape his spiritual and devotional worship. Yeah, just like there is a Devata Vishnu and Vaishnavite says, oh, this mantra is doing the stuti of Vishnu Bhagavan. So, but their Vishnu, Shiva is the same person. So, some Shaivites say that this Rudradhyaya is there, eulogy of Rudra is there. So, this is about the Shiva. So, that is ignorance, that is avidya, that you are thinking Shiva separate from Vishnu or separate from Brahman, or you are thinking Vishnu is a separate identity and Shiva is a separate identity. This is based upon confusion. And if you will hold this confusion in your mind, you are not getting the real learning. You are, having avidya in you. And that avidya is not going to help you in your spiritual elevation. Mind it. Avidya. Rite janat na mukti. There are two terms, vidya and avidya. Vidya means to consider things as they are. Avidya means to consider a thing as it is not. Suppose the body is material and we think, oh, body is the soul. This is avidya. So avidya is meant for your downgradation and vidya is meant for our upgradation. So thus, if you are going by the interpretations based on avidya, you are not going to be benefited by those things. So now these are the existing questions, and if anybody in the audience, you have any other question, you are.
Bhairavi, there's one more question.
Mhm.
It's from Shaji in Kerala.
Okay, but I didn't receive it. Oh,
Yeah,
did you tell? Okay.
Yeah, it was posted on Tuesday. It says, Namaste. I heard that Ved mantra have 4 parts and 5 types of meaningful understand. And now we have lost 2 types of meaningful understand. Is it true?
No, Vedas, you can say that 4 parts are there, Sanghita, Brahmana, Aranyak and Upanishad. Means in one Vedic system, just like Rigveda is there, so Rigveda Sanghita part is there, Rigveda Brahman is there, Rigved's Aranyak is there and Upanishad is also there. That is right. But five types of meaning, it's not five types of meaning, and no meaning has been lost. There may be many types of meaning derived from the Vedas, but mostly in a grosser classification, Vedas are assigned three types of meaning by Yask. Adhyatmik, pertaining to metaphysics; Adhidaivik, pertaining to astrophysics or astronomy; and Adhibhautik, pertaining to the material world, mundane world. So the entire knowledge system embedded in the Vedas that can be classified into three main categories, and still it is existent. We cannot say lot many things have been lost. No doubt there was a period when the people used to think that Vedas are nirarthaka, meaningless. Even during Yaska's time, there were many scholars, they used to say, no, Vedas are meaningless, there is no meaning in Vedas. And they used Vedic mantras only for ritualism. They forget those mantras. But now the meaning has again been revived, and this meaning is still reflected in the statements of the Brahman Granthas. We cannot say, no doubt the loss of the meaning took place, but still these three meanings were revived by Swami Dayanand and Sayanacharya, Venkata Madhav. They also did so many efforts, though they try to retain that meaning.
Okay, now we can take questions or any clarifications.
Namaste, everyone. Dharamir speaking.
Dharamvirji, namaste.
Namaste to everybody and who's listening. I have listened to the speech of today.
You have to unmute, Bhai Dharmir.
You will have to unmute yourself. You have got.
Oh, yes. I unmute. Most of the question was based on Bhagavad Gita today. And I would like to ask a question. Does every answer of the Bhagavad Gita is relevant to today and in the future? Because most of the people say you should read the Bhagavad Gita and you will gain some kind of knowledge. So I want to know if it's relevant to today's world and in the future.
Yes, Dharamvirji, as I told, Bhagavad Gita, addresses the conflicts in life. And conflict in life, any type of conflict, it can be resolved. If the conflict of duty is there, then it can be resolved which duty is primary. If some personal conflict is there, then it can be resolved based upon your priority, but you are not going to live your value system. So that way, Bhagavad Gita's teachings are relevant for old times.
The law of dharma.
Yeah.
And what Krishna teaches Arjun, that you have to fight and you are fighting for justice. So if we bring that to today's relevance, I don't think that will pass on today's way of life.
Well, today also we can struggle to establish dharma. First of all, we must know what is dharma. Dharma is not religion in today's sense. Dharma means moral, ethical values. Dharma means a duty of a human being towards his individual self, to the family, to the society, to the nation, to the earth, to the environment. This is all dharma. And in ancient time, there was one more dharma, apad dharma, emergency duty, apad dharma. So during the emergency, you can, leave some basic values also. So whatever dharma we think today, it's not religion. It's not a fight to establish some religious domain or religious teachings. It's the struggle for establishing moral, ethical, human, and natural value systems in the society, and everybody must understand his duty. There is no question of rights in Vedic system or Bhagavad Gita. You are not supposed to have any right, but you are supposed to have duties to be performed, and if everybody performs his duty better way, his rights will automatically be met.
Okay, thank you. I would like to ask a question on the past lecture.
No problem. You can ask. Now you are
We
free,
are
you can
going
ask
back to
any question.
the gunas,
Mhm.
Sattva, Raja, and Tamas guna.
Yeah.
You say if Sattva guna is dominant,
Hmm.
someone who will be born as a yogi or something like that.
Yeah.
Let me take Swami Dayanand for example.
Mhm.
He went through many hardships before he gained what he needs and he become a yogi.
Yeah.
How do you pertain that to anybody who born in the Sattva guna? How do you explain things like that? How he can to develop himself to become
Yeah.
a yogi also?
Yes, because Swami Dayanand in his past life he had sattva dominance. So in the present life he was not influenced by tamasic worship systems. Because if you have a particular sanskar, you must need some conducive atmosphere for the exposure or the exposure for the development of that sanskara. So when he didn't found the conducive atmosphere for the development of that sanskar, he left the house, and because the his sanskar was very strong, so he searched the yogis. Because immediately if you have those good sanskaras, you if you were a born yogi in the childhood, you cannot you can be a yogi if you were a high grade yogi, but if you were not a high grade yogi and you had a sanskar of yogi, then in this present life itself you will seek some good yogi. And he did the same thing. He went out to Himalayas, then he started learning, and his learning process ended with Guru Vrijananda only, where he found the right teacher. And he didn't stop till the time he found the right teacher. And he was never influenced by tantrikas, by non-vegetarian systems, any other so many evil systems were prevalent. He was not influenced because of his sattva dominance sanskaras.
Thank you. I have a question on death.
Yeah.
When someone, I am asking this question because I heard lots of things from lots of
Yeah, no
learned
problem, no
people.
problem. That's right.
And after death, how
Mhm.
long does it take, or does it take time for someone to reborn? Does
Mhm.
it have any period where, let me say, because I see in Yajurved 39.6, there
Mhm.
is a mantra which remains that the Atma Brahman करके तब बाद में गर्भसा होगा तब जन्म ले.
Hmm. Actually, this question has also been dealt with in Sankhya. When Atman, leaves his present body and it is supposed to enter the another body, at least 12-13 days period has been suggested, but it may take more time because Atma will enter into the new house in alignment with his sanskaras. If the parental sanskaras of sanskaras are the same as that of the Atman sanskaras, then Atma will be born over there. So it may have to wait also, and it may take immediate birth also. Both things are possible. Just like the seed is there. In seed, the germ is there, it will have to grow, but you don't allow it to, or don't give it the perfect or suitable atmosphere to get germinated. So it will not, no tree will come out of it, no plant will come out of it. So this is no some fixed rule. Similarly, people are asking the age is fixed. No, age is also not fixed. It can be reduced, it can be increased based upon your patterns. Because if you will get the body early, nothing is going to happen, and if you will have to wait for the next body, nothing is going to happen. Because Atma can't travel, the mind will take it, Atma will be there in that same atmosphere, it is there. So, wherever the stall body will take it, it will be moving. So, whenever the right atmosphere for its birth or for its body is there, it will take birth. So, it may take 13 days, more than that also.
I will take your answer for granted, but because why I asked this question,
Yeah.
a lot of learned people told me, and I disagree with them, that when somebody die, the Atma will have to take birth immediately, because like a worm leaving one branch to go to the other branch, you have to hold the other branch before leaving the first branch. So that is the way the Atma travels. So, but I disagree with them, and I accepted your answer.
No. Why? There is one more thing. If Atma is not having any body, no problem is that. He is lying. It's there in the atmosphere. Just like suppose if Atma is in moksha, there is no body. And if dissolution is period is there, pralaya is there is no body for them. So there is no immediate need for the Atman to get the body. Why Atma is getting body? Just to do karmas. And if the Atma is suppose it's going to get a animal body, that is only the bhoga yoni. This human body is required because we are supposed to do karma, we are supposed to uplift ourselves or downgrade ourselves. So if that is delayed, nothing going to happen. So it's unnecessary, rigid questions. So Yoga Darshan says, Jati Ayura Bhogaha. When Atma leaves this body or goes to the second body, it goes with the Jati, the species, whether animal species, bird species, human species. Second thing, Ayu, the lifespan in that species. Suppose by your karmas, you have a lifespan of 400 years in the human body. So, it doesn't mean that you will live 400 years in one body. You may change different bodies. Suppose your one body, it dies out of accident, then you will occupy the another body, then you will occupy. So, those 400 years can be spent in 10 bodies also or in one body also. Just like in Ramayana, it is said that Ram ruled earth for 1,000 years. So it was not one birth. In different births, he came and he ruled, came and ruled, came and ruled. So, Jati, Ayu and Bhog. If you are born in a lower species, then your Bhog is defined over there. But in human life, we are not able to understand whether we are doing karma or we are getting fruit of the karma. So that is not, we cannot decide that. So we are supposed to do best. So that whatever bad was there, it is exhausted and best becomes prevalent.
Professor
I
Ji?
want to know why all these loaded people, preaching the wrong gospel to the people that the Atma have to
You,
be born immediately.
you, you know, Dharamveer I told it is based upon their knowledge. If you study something and you take it like that, just like a small child is there. So whatever he, reads in the book, he think that is the permanent, that is the final truth. But those are guiding principles. Those are not the strict regulations. In Dharma Shastras also, nothing is strict. Everything is not fixed in this world. Fixed it, whatever type of karma we will do, the same type of reward we will get. This is the fixed. But when and where, this is not fixed. It depends upon the availability of the next body or those sanskaras or the environment. Suppose this earth becomes desert land, by human being, by their activities, they won't allow it to be a fertile planet, just like moon, Mars and Venus, Jupiter. So you think some problem will take place? If no planet is there to live, the soul will live in the atmosphere as they do. What's wrong? Nothing is going to happen.
Yes, that is for sure. No,
Right.
that's Yajurveda 39.6 explained it properly as you said.
Yeah, it is just minimum time, but it takes
Yeah,
some 13 days or so, then it goes.
yeah,
And if it takes more, then nothing wrong happens.
yeah. May I ask a question on all these lectures, the past lectures and the information? Will it remain on the site or it is temporary?
What?
The lectures, all the
Uh-huh.
lectures and the information,
No,
do they
yes,
they
lectures,
will remain on the site?
they will remain during the period of that lecture. Again, when this batch will be completed, then they will be opened again for the next batch. And if you want to attend those lectures again, then you will have to re-enroll yourself. So their
No, no, no.
password and
I
everything
mean,
will change.
I
So they
mean
will
for the for
continue always, but
I mean
because
if they will remain for the future.
yeah, they will be, every time they will be repeated. This is not once for all. That's why we are making them as pre-recorded.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you very
That
much.
is the
I would like to
permanent
ask you a personal
heritage.
question, but I will leave that for the other time.
Okay. Okay. Pandita Bhanu has her hand up. Go ahead, Pandita Bhanu.
Yes, just to follow up on the previous question.
Yeah.
Professor Raviji, like him, I have heard so many explanations about the Atma's sojourn. So in its sojourn, let me say, it's in transiting.
Mhm.
So specifically, can we say in what loka or where does this Atma actually wait for its rebirth?
No, this moves around the same atmosphere through air, through solar rays. It is traveling here in this cosmos itself because it's traveling with its stall body. That stall body, one word I can call at mind, intellect, and ahankara. That so this is the stall body, and because the mind has all information for its future birth. So when just like the seed has the information for the birth of that tree, so whenever that information will find the conducive atmosphere on whatever part of the earth, it will take birth because mind is so fast. Mind travels very fast, even at a speed higher than the light itself. It can reach at any place. So, with the help of air and the solar rays, the Atman, you know, keeps on traveling, and whatever sanskar it is having. So, suppose it has the tamasic sanskar. Before death, it will enjoy the same, stupidity, dullness in the life. If Atman has the Sattvic Sanskar, it will be very light and, feeling the same thing as in the human body. So the feeling will be the same as per Tamasic, Rajasic or Sattvic Sanskar. Rajasic, it will be very fast, moving very fast, fickle. Sattvic, it will be stable, peaceful. Even if it doesn't get body, it will be in a peaceful stage in the atmosphere space. And if it is tamasic, it will be dull type, sleeping, feeling lethargy. The same feeling will be there. And if it is rajasic, it will be fickle, traveling this place, that place. It will become restless like that.
Oh my God. So in this journey, sorry, it's the vasanas are the driving, the most effective forces here.
Right,
Vasanas.
right. Oh, vasana means sanskar, the same thing. Sanskar, desire, whatever. That information I'm talking about, that is sanskar. Vasana is nothing different. And why the sanskar is accumulated through desires. Whatever you think, whatever you desire, whatever you eat, whatever you act, the same things they are being accumulated or transforming into the sanskar. Sanskar is the psychological genes. And then it reflect into the biological genes, DNA, RNA, when you take birth. That's all. They transform into biology. That is psychology.
Um, Next person with their hand up is Prisha Ji. Prisha, go ahead, please.
Namaste.
Yes,
I
Prishaji.
actually have a question about the Upavedas because you mentioned that the primary Vedic texts will be the Vedas, obviously the Brahmanas, Aranya, and the Upanishads, but you had said that the Vedas are not about human life. And when we look at Upavedas, they deal with Ayurveda and economics and warfare and music and whatever. Where does that fit into the family of the Vedic texts?
Vedas are about human life also. Atharvaved is about human life. And other three Vedas, they are about this Shamved is about meditation. Rigved is about information about all elements, matter, Brahman and everything. Yajurved deals with the actions of the Brahman, actions of the human being. And Atharved is Vijnana. Vijnana means whatever we realize, whatever we do experiment, the human, just like Ayurveda and everything, that is the Atharved. So Upaveda is based upon the Vedas themselves. Just like Dhanurveda is the Upaveda of Yajurveda. Artha Veda is the Arth means that whatever Artha Shastra, Chanakya's Artha Shastra, all these things that is known as Artha Veda. Then Ayurveda is also based upon this Atharva Veda. So Upavedas are the sub-subject we can say, and Atharva Veda is the main knowledge of the creation, and that knowledge has been further divided for the benefit of human beings. That is Upaveda.
Pandit, next person is Pandit Vikranta Huja. Pandit Ji, go ahead.
Yes, Vikrant
Thank
ji.
you. Thank you, Bhayashwani ji. Thank you, Acharya ji. So this might be a question for both of you, actually. So this was pertaining to the lecture, Bhayashwani ji, that you gave last week. And when you spoke about the kalpas, you had mentioned the twilight period. What is a twilight period?
Yes, yeah. Actually, twilight period means when you transit from one phase to the another phase. Just like Sandhya period is there when you transit from the day to the night period. So some period is required, and that is known as transition period, that is known as twilight period. Similarly, because whatever is said, there are 71 manvantaras, now 14
Ma- ma-
manvantaras in a kalp, and there are 71 Mahayugas in a Manvantra, and there are 1000 Mahayugas in a Kalp. If you say that there are 1000 Mahayugas in a Kalp, then that period comes short of 6 Manvantaras, no, 6 Mahayugas. So that 6 Mahayuga period is considered as the transition period or the twilight period. In fact, that is for calculation's sake. Because if 1000 Mahayuga is equal to 1 kalp, so 1 kalp will be 4.32 billion years. And if you say that 14 manvantaras is equal to 1 kalp, and 1 manvantra is equal to 71 mahayugas, so that 71 mahayuga, and if you make 1 manvantra and 14 manvantra, if you make a kalp, then it will be 994 Mahayugas, not 1000 Mahayugas. So 6 Mahayugas will be left or will be less than. So what happens then in Surya Siddhant? They said that 1 Manvantra is equal to 71 Mahayugas plus 1 twilight period, that is known as 1 Satya Yuga, or 17 lakh 28,000 Mahayugas. So that twilight period was added in the Manvantra system of just to make it complete 1000 yugas, because Manusmriti says something different, and Surya Siddhant, it says, it calculates something different. That is why the Veda, origin of Vedic period, as per Rigveda, the Bhashya Bhumika, is around 1.96 billion, and as per Kalpa period is around 1.97 billion periods.
And what is the term for twilight in Sanskrit?
Sandhya period, Sandhikal.
Oh, Sandhya. Oh, Sandhika.
Sandhikal,
Oh, okay, right,
Sandhikal you
right.
can say, yes.
And the other question relates, I have a few more on the talking about the Ved, but the cycle of creation, Vayashwani had given as 8.64 billion times 300 million times 360 times 100. Now, I was a little confused on why it was 360 versus 365 days.
Yeah,
Is that is it the degrees in a circle, or what is that? And then what
right.
was the 100 years?
Yes, yes. Generally, the whole circle is 360-degree. And the civil year, because the earth moves around its axis in 24 hours. So the 30, that rotations will be 1 month. So that is 30 days. And that 360 rotation will be known as 360. Generally, 1 month 30 days, 1 year 360 days. But if you say 1 nakshatra year, 1 solar year, 1 Chandra year, then the calculation will be the different. And the same 360 year system, it is defined in the Veda itself. So we are, when we calculate 360, now when we talk about an year, we just multiply by 360. So 1 day of Brahma is equal to 4.32 billion years. So again, 1 night of the same period, 4.32 billion years. So 1 complete day of Brahma, including day and night, will be 8.64 billion years. And so if you multiply by 30, it will be by 1 month. If you will multiply by 360, it will be 1 year. And if you multiply by again by 100, it will be a complete lifespan of Brahma or this Brahmand. Because in Vedana we have heard Jivem Sharadha Shatam Shinuyam Sharadha Shatam. So general lifespan of a human being is also described as 100. Similarly, the lifespan of Brahmanda is also 100 Brahma years. So this is what is used in calculation, because the circle is 360 degree. So accordingly, when Earth takes one round of 360, that is the 360, we call it the civilian year or the Savan Varsha. We are not calculating this thing into either Nakshatra month, because Nakshatra month is also 365.25. Solar month is also around 365.24, and Chandra month is around 371. So that is different.
And what is the when we talk about one day of Brahman or Brahma, you said that, well, what happens after the 100th day, and what are we referring to when we say Brahma in terms of astronomical calculations?
Yeah, Brahma is Brahmanda. Brahma is Brahmanda, astronomical calculations, and these all calculations, they have been given in Surya Siddhanta, Manusmriti, Aryabhattiyam, the different astronomical texts, it has been dealt with. So Brahma is here not some human being, it's Brahmanda itself.
And what happens after the 100 days of Brahman?
Yeah, complete one cycle, 100 days, 100 years of Brahma years. This is 311 trillion years, complete cycle of cosmos. And that cycle means if a soul goes into moksha after completion of, in the next creation cycle, means after 311 trillion years, it will come back on the earth. Just like now, 155 trillion years have already passed. Suppose some soul goes into the moksha now, so it will come again on the earth in the next cycle after 155 trillion years. Because when the next cycle will take place, everybody, this this Brahman or Paramatman releases everybody to come on the earth, but the soul in moksha, they will go again in the moksha, and other they will survive. And the Rigved Sandhya mantra, na, we read, Yah Atmada, Yah Balada, Tasya. Mantra is like that, na? Atmada Balada, I have forgotten that. So the Brahman who releases the souls, Atmada means who releases the souls to take birth, and Balada who releases this Prakriti or energy to manifest in the form of universe.
Dhanyavad Acharya. I didn't want to take up too much time. I have a few more questions.
Yeah.
Can
You
I
can
go
ask.
ahead, or if somebody has? Okay. So this comes to the soul, and what the question that I had with the soul was, how does from a theosophical perspective, the soul from a Christian perspective just is born in, I guess, in the womb, where it just comes about. Um, from a Hindu perspective, Vedic perspective, how does the soul enter the body? When does it enter? And my next question regarding that is, are the sperm considered to be, or do the sperm then have a soul? If that were the case, then I guess how would they then enter the sperm, and how does the soul then enter the body?
Yeah, because every soul enters into the womb through the sperm of the fathers. And I told, if if a particular soul has a particular type of sanskar, and accordingly, if the sperm of the father and this ovum of the mother, they conjointly mix that type of atmosphere suitable for the birth or taking body, forming body of that soul, then the soul will enter that very moment when the sperm and ovum they join in the womb, and it takes the form of a fetus. The very moment itself it enters. That is why the fetus starts growing. Had there been no soul, there would have been no growth in the fetus.
So then, Acharyaji, the other sperm that don't go to fertilize the ovum, then they then just go into the atmosphere and then go into another body? And how does that process work?
No, the sperm is, you can fertilize the sperm even in some tube. It will also enter there because the sperm and ovum, it has some, it gives that atmosphere. And if the sperm is not fertilized, either in the body or anywhere else, so there's no, actually it's not fixed for the soul that it is going to enter into this particular sperm. There are millions, billions of human beings there. Wherever those sanskaras, quite close to that soul's sanskar is there, it can take birth. It can enter.
So, Acharyaji, what you're saying is the soul is separate from the sperm, so this the soul may
Right.
not necessarily enter the sperm.
Yes, no doubt.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes
That was
what
something that
happens,
I'm glad you clarified.
sometimes two souls also enter into the sperm, three. So three children are born. In animals, many souls they have facility for entry, so many enters. So it's not fixed. Sperm is different, soul is different. Sperm is the material part of the body. Soul is quite different from that. Sperm is, you can say, the construction material for this body. But the construction of the body will start when the soul enters. Okay, now you start constructing. Without that, without owner, you have so many construction material lying scattered. But when the owner we won't come, the construction cannot start. The soul is the owner. So when it enters, you say, okay, that's good, more. It starts.
Thank you, Acharyaji.
Can I just quickly interrupt there, Vikranji?
Yeah.
I think with this question, because I know when we had done Garbhadanam Sanskar, there was something that had said that the soul enters through the sperm. So I think that's where it was probably a wrong interpretation. I don't know, but I think that's where this question could be coming from, because I have heard that as well.
You are right. That's why we used to say, our Shastras say that you do preparation for the type of soul you want to have in your house. So you make that type of conducive atmosphere to invite that type of soul. So that if you want a yogi in the house, then you will have to, at least 1 year, you will have to develop those standards where you can allow such a soul to enter. So it's all planned. Baby can be planned. Everything can be planned. Here it is not. If you don't plan, then automatically whatever by God's justice or nyay, it will take place. But you can plan. That's why human being is a karma yoni. You can do anything, whatever you like.
Bhai Satish, did you have a question?
No, thank you, Ashwini ji, but I am really impressed by the answers of Professor Ashwini ji. And I think that all the answers given are quite explicit in certain books, and I would request whenever maybe Professor G is replying to those questions, he can always refer to those parts where it is mentioned, such as Professor G mentioned, Manuskriti, Smriti, Sanskar Vidhi, or it is Satyarth Prakash, or whatever.
Yeah, Sankhya
where
Darshan, all these texts are there.
yeah. Thank you, Professor Suniji. Thank you.
Okay, Pandit Vikrant, did you have another question?
This is referring to now the chand and the swaras. I believe we're in chapter 4, if I'm not mistaken. If you can correct me, Bhayashwani, of the material.
Introduction to the Vedas. Yes.
The Vedas, yes.
Fourth lecture, yes.
Oh, fourth, because he did speak about the chand and swaras. So my question regarding that was, I understand the difference between those, but can you perhaps, Acharyaji, mention what the proper pronunciation, we can just take the Gayatri mantra, how that would be pronounced with respect to the swaras, because I know even listening to a lot of South Indian pundits, they have one way of chanting, and their pitches go high and low. I'm wondering if you can maybe elucidate us on that, because I know sometimes the different samajas have their own way of reciting the mantras, which doesn't necessarily align with the chant.
You know,
I think, sir,
yes.
this lecture on chant is coming up in lecture 5. The lecture 4 is on deities.
Okay. Still we can.
Oh, is it on the? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Okay,
No
but we'll
problem.
keep it. We'll table it for next.
That swara I mentioned, there are two types of swaras. One is tones, musical notes, we can say, that pancham, gandhara, madhyam, like that, these 7 swaras of music. And another swara used in the Veda is 3 types of, those are grammatical swaras known as udatta, anudatta, and swarita. So, chanting of the mantra, when you are doing some yajna or you are performing some another sacrament or sanskar, for, for that purpose, that is known as ekashruti. You need not chant mantras as per udatta, anudatta, and swarita. Ekashruti means only in one swar you can chant. Tat savitur varenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. So, whatever, it is very difficult to chant mantras as per Udatta, Anudatta, and Swarita. You might have seen the South Indian Pandits when they chant, they just do this. If Swarit is there, then they will raise hand above their head. If Udatta is there, then they will keep close to this your ear, and below ear, that is anudatta. So it is very difficult to chant mantras as per udatta, anudatta, and swarit. But these hand gestures, they try to keep those swaras preserved. But these swaras, udatta, anudatta, and swarit, their maximum benefit, or they can be most utilized in translating those Vedic mantras. So there are different style in South Indian style. When swara is there, so they chant that word twice, just like in tat savitur varenyam, like that they will say twice. Tat savitur varenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo nah prachodayat, like that they will say. So there are different things, and people have preserved. Now the Vedas have been documented. In those documents these swaras are there, but this swara is a very tedious part of the Veda, very difficult, and due to that swara system, no Pandit or no pseudo scholar try to do any interpolation into the Veda, because Vedic mantra, writing, composing a Vedic mantra along with the swara system, Udatta, Anudatta, and Swarita, it's very, very difficult. So no interpolations took place in the Vedas. In other Shastras, everywhere interpolations are there, because it's very easy to write a shloka. So they inserted slokas in Manusmriti, in Puranas, as per their, self-interest, under the pressure of the Muslim rulers and by the bribery of the Britishers. All these things took place.
धन्यवाद आचार्य जी.
Yeah.
Okay. There are no more questions. So just an announcement. Next week I wouldn't be here, and Pandit Vikranta Ahuja will be substituting in my place on next Sunday. So continue to post your questions in the chat, and Dr. Ravi Prakash will answer them on the live discussion.